Perfect. All right, so welcome. This is December 10th, 2021 for True Payrolls Migration 2021-22 now. So we're going to go ahead and get ourselves started. I don't know why I really like that slide, but I put that in there like, oh, that's kind of fun. So anyway, what I wanted to talk about today is, as a result of not having a whole lot to show, is how is this migration actually going to impact our customers, and really kind of reiterate why it's happening. In the last week or two, there's been some conversation with customers in regards to timetables and how is this going to, on a regular basis, impact what I do. And at the end of the day, the migration is going to impact your ability to do payroll in what I would consider the most positive way imaginable. From being able to potentially import your hours to onboarding employees using their cell phones and their email accounts, and really taking time burdens off of you as our customers. To the extent where there was a situation that did occur this week where we had a customer who needed to void a check from November. And if you've used our system for any length of time, and you do either an accounting export, or you are part of our workers' comp, or it's direct deposit, you're not actually enabled to void a check after you've created a second check later down the timeline. So when I got this request in this week to void out a check that this employee, it was a bonus check, it was done incorrectly, you can't, as our current customer, get in there and void out that check. You should be able to do that. You have to contact me. I then actually don't have the physical ability to void that check for you either. So what do? I actually have to get on a support call with a tier 1 support person and forward your request. As a veteran CPA, not as in a military veteran, but as a long-term CPA, I know exactly what I need to do for you when you ask for your requests, whether it be an amended quarterly form or some kind of additional bonus or whatever you're doing. I know the technical aspects of this. I'm not empowered to actually do a lot of the requests that you make of us. We have to invoke the powers that be in their chat support to actually do a variety of things. And we shield you from that. That's part of what we do. It's why we're here. And so when we launch, you will be able to do these things on your own without needing to make a phone call. For me, that's so vitally important to empower users, whether it be me or you, to finish the job that you need done when you want it done. There's really no purpose in the sense of avoiding of a check. If you know you don't want it anymore, or you have made a change and you've already corrected it at some future point, then you should be empowered to be able to make that change. And we should facilitate whatever other consequences occur, whether it be a refund that needs to come back to you because something was overpaid, or there's more taxes to go, or an amended tax return needs to be filed because it happened in a previous quarter or a previous year. So this is the geek in me coming out as the payroll guy, right? All this stuff is going to now be at your fingertips and at mine. So if you don't want to do it, we're still going to be here. You can still make your phone call and say, hey, Al, I need you to help us with this. Or you can chat it over, you can text it over, you can email it over, whatever. You can operate in the same fashion, but we'll be empowered to be able to do that for you. You'll be empowered to be able to do that for yourself. So we're problem solving all of the daily stuff, which is why I use that graphic for today. We're problem solving for all the things that you deal with, that we deal with, that nobody else is actually either not willing to or unable to provide to you. And so I'm excited for it. I can't wait for this. May 1st is still the date. It's going to be the date. Rain, sleet, snow, whatever the sunny weather, it's coming on May 1st. So I want to thank you for allowing me to share that with you. There were no real questions submitted this past week. And so with, as I already said before we started recording, I already told Anthony, he is the face of all of our customers and asking the questions that all of you tend to, because I know some of you have responded this past week with saying, hey, Anthony's really cool. We really like him on there. So Anthony, no pressure.
Oh, okay. Well, I do have one question from your example that popped out right away.
Awesome.
And I guess the solution might be different depending on the answer to my question. But in the case of that check that they wanted to, that they reissued, was that check already cashed or not cashed, or does that make a difference? And how does that affect the remedy that you had to administer for those different scenarios?
Awesome question. Technologically, it won't matter whether the check is cashed or not. You'll still be able to do what you need to do. When it comes to a more specific answer, in this case, in this example, the check was not cashed. They had done the bonus because they knew they were going to give this employee a bonus, and they needed to change the dollar amount, and they weren't actually able to do that. And so they had to, the solution today, and it would still be that same solution. Well, no, I take that back. They would, in the new platform, Anthony, you'd be able to actually go into that check, make the changes, and you're good. Because the design of the new platform is such that it will account for what you had, what you changed it to, and everything in between, and put it on the right forms with the right tax calculations. And you now have your historical record that you can go back and look to see what, all right, this is how we started it, this is what we changed it to, and all the ramifications thereof. So the solution for today is they had to reissue a brand new check in the correct amounts, and the previous check, we just negated out of the system. Had that check been cashed, the solution today would be adjusting whatever the answer is for the net amount of what was cashed. So if the check was less, yet they either had to create a loan that the employee had to pay back, or you would have a deduction off of an increase for what was already received. And so that could still be the, right. So in the new platform, you'd go to that original transaction, you would adjust that transaction either up or down, and you'll have, if it's going down, you're going to have options for how you want to handle the overpayment.
Right. Okay.
You know, do you want to
you're going to be able
to
yeah, so your new system will be able to handle those kind of challenging situations, and you'll be able to handhold us through the process the first time, and then once we get the hang of it, we're going to be able to do it ourselves. I think a lot of times your support will be great the first time you do something like that, walk somebody through it, or maybe a video like this for those kind of special circumstances. My good wife is bringing me a coffee right now. Thank you, dear.
I'll take one.
All right. All right. I wish we could send you one. Our Nespresso machine is not that efficient. It can only do it in house.
Oh, man.
So anyway, that's good. I like, I really like the strategy. Sorry about my crinkle in my throat. But that you're empowering us to be able to do it ourselves in real time instead of the delay, because that's, I'm finding from my experience with accounting, is that changing things, fixing errors take way more time than getting it right the first time, but they're inevitable, they happen. But the more expediently that you can do that, correct those errors without having to go through 3 or 4 layers of calls and levels of contact, like you described in your example, is going to save time down the road, which is ultimately all we have.
Right. So there's another example I'll give too, and this happens on every week, guaranteed. It's I don't even have to guarantee it. I know it. It's factual. So invariably across all the different customers that we have, and as that continues to grows, when you process on the current platform and you get outside of the initial about 5 to 10 minutes after you approve a payroll and you realize, oh, I made a mistake, I got to go back. You can't edit that check, nor can I. So when customers it gets locked down. And there's really very little reason for that to occur, even in the design of the current platform, but that is just the way it is designed. So if you were to do this check, and so let's say it's Wednesday, you process your payroll at noon and it's all direct deposit for Friday. And at 3 o'clock, you go, oh, wait, that was wrong. Or some new piece of information comes in about that pay period and you got to change a check. You can't. It tells you to contact your accountant, which is us, right? And so you reach out to me and say, hey, I've got this issue. I need this modified, whatever the case. What happens here? I actually delete that first. I save an image of it. I then delete it, and then I re-enter what you had with the adjustment in it. And so neither you nor your employee know the difference of that process, but that's the process. In the existing, in the new platform, you'll be able to edit that check at any time, pre or post direct deposit, pre or post even the lock off period, if you will. So Wednesday happens, payroll's Friday. If it goes to Thursday and you need to make that modification in the new platform, in the wholesale payroll platform, you'll be able to make that modification. It may not, or it might fix the direct deposit in time. Just depends on when. At a minimum, though, it will create the difference necessary to either, again, positive or minus, and adjust either that next check or the current check. So you don't have to go through this. I gotta let Al know because it's locked down. Nothing's ever going to be locked. It's just a matter of what are the consequences of the timing of the change that you need to make. If it happens to go before your funding goes out, you're fine. You'll be able to edit that all day long, every day, up until 8 o'clock. And when 8 o'clock occurs and that bank cutoff does happen, then you make that change. It's going to affect a future, it could affect a future check, or depending on how you have the bank services set up with us, then it may actually be able to. So if you're on same or next day, it'll fix it after the cutoff, if you will.
Right.
So just depends on the level of service that you decide to take.
Right.
And so the same and next day service will require one of two things. Again, is either a credit approval because you've done business with us for long enough that we know you're not going anywhere and we're not going to have to chase down funds, or there's an account opened up with our financial institution. And we get nothing out of that. Other than being able to offer that additional service. So it's not like there's more fees, we're not getting kickbacks, none of that kind of stuff.
Right. And you've described that you haven't said you can't announce the name of the bank yet, but you said that you will be doing that.
I will here, and I'll put it in the next slide. So yeah, it is Cogent Bank, COGENT. They're a Florida-based bank only, and they have a branch now in Naples, one in Jacksonville. There's 5 branches, but the one nearest us is in Naples.
In Naples. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Are they a national bank, or are they just based in Florida?
It's a national bank that's only in Florida at the moment.
Oh, okay. So they have the rights to expand outside of Florida, but their footprint is only in Florida at this particular time.
Yeah.
But they can allow accounts in other jurisdictions or other states.
So they're not, the accounts themselves will be Florida based, but they can open up accounts for anybody in the United States. So if you're in California, you're in Alaska, you're in Hawaii, you're in New York, doesn't matter. The account can get opened as the relationship through us. Okay.
Well, that's interesting. Okay, good. Thanks for sharing that. I hadn't heard the name of it because you had wanted to keep it under lock and key or whatever for a bit.
We don't have to keep that secret anymore. So I'm real excited. And we have the contact. So if anybody watching wants to reach out to us, let us know. I'll get you to the right person to have any discussion on business banking or individual banking. She's a pretty cool cat. We really enjoy working with her. And the bank is what I'll say is super progressive with what they're doing for the level of services that they're providing. They are nimble, they are eager, and it's been a real pleasure to work with them so far. So Very,
And
very super excited.
how long have they been around? What's their history?
I think they're only 3 or 4 years old, but they have what they have in their portfolio. They're already the size of what I would consider as a regional.
Is
They're-
that right? That's amazing in 3 years
They-
that they can.
So they're leveraging technology. They're empowering. It's one of the reasons so with what we're doing, payroll as a service bureau has historically been a challenge because of the nature in which the banking institutions have allowed transactions to process.
Right.
So along comes technology. These guys are extremely forward thinking about the technology, to the point where we can do the same day, next day. I mean, there's really only the bigger banks that are even offering that to their larger clientele. We're able to now offer it to the smallest clientele.
Awesome.
And it is incredible. And that they're willing to partner with us to do all of this. They saw our vision and understand where this can go,
Right.
and really revolutionizing an industry that's it's in need of it really badly.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. And I can see how the banks get kind of stuck in their mode and in their way of doing things. And it's hard to move those accounting systems and software forward. It's not easy. Those are huge challenges. But if you're starting from the ground up, like it sounds like Cogent is, it's a lot easier, right?
They really leverage technology. And again, I think I would describe them as being much more visionary, like we are, in terms of what they're going to do to solve customers' problems. So
that's great to know.
Really like them. Chris would be the person that we would connect you with. And again, if you want her information, I'll share that offline.
Yeah.
I'll make sure that she is going to allow it, because I can share it next week as long as she tells me that I can and the bank approves the slide, right? They've got compliance issues that they got to worry about. So
for sure. Yeah. Those are always, they're always there in the backdrop.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't think of any other questions, but that's very informative. That's very helpful.
Awesome.
That may be something we might utilize. I don't know. That's not a decision that I can make, but I will certainly apprise the treasurer and others in the church that, this is another option if at some point that's a need.
And I'll tell you where the need, I think, really comes in. It's for those customers and businesses that operate a short cash flow week, meaning they are cutting off payroll on a Monday and they want to get people paid Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And they need the flexibility of having a little extra time in their day in order to actually complete their payroll. So,
right.
Or somebody who cuts it off on a Friday or Saturday and they're not getting paid to the following Friday or Saturday or Thursday or Friday. Those 2 or 3 days is usually enough. So it really comes down to restaurants. It's a big deal in restaurants. It's a big deal in some of the service areas where they just want to get their employees paid because they're living paycheck to paycheck. And
they live in paycheck and they get paid probably every week. I would imagine,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So they're doing 52 payrolls a week. That's a lot of that's all they're doing. They're living and breathing the stuff. They're not doing anything else. Yeah.
Depending on the size. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Depending on the size of the restaurant or maybe number of restaurants in the chain or whatever. Yeah, I can see that.
Exactly. So very that's where that comes into be more of an advantageous offering. My guess is in your situation, it really isn't necessarily something that's super attractive, because you'll have plenty of time between when your cutoff is and when process that.
Most of the people in our company are on salary, so nothing changes. You just have to change the amounts maybe once, twice a year at the most. So there's not a lot of adjustments, but you still have to be cognizant of what's going on because there are some deductions and stuff, of course, that have to be updated from time to time.
And that just actually brings to point, we did have another issue this week where we did send out notifications as we started providing services and minimum wages in various states changed. We would go in and update that for customers because it's not automatic. The challenge now is because of our size, we're not actually able to get in there quickly enough to make the changes for everybody before they get to processing their payroll. And so we did have an issue this week where an employer didn't realize the minimum wage had changed, and had been paying here in Florida, right? It changed in October. So
Right.
basically October, November paychecks were short by the increase in the minimum wage for those that were affected by it.
Right.
So we went in and we helped them and we got it all figured out and fixed, and everybody is now paid accordingly. I bring that up to say in the new platform, we're actually now automating every increase. So when the state makes it on the day, you'll be able to add in your normal pay cycle, whether they're salaried or otherwise, the date that we'll know when the date of that raise takes effect, the minimum wage rate increase takes effect. So we can actually calculate how many hours are particularly salary, what's the hours before that, what's the hours after that, and the adjustment will take place. When it comes to entering in time, currently, you look at the system and it gives you this either week, 2 weeks, bi-monthly or monthly, and there isn't a field to say hours for this time span and hours for this time span. It doesn't exist. Right. That will exist.
Okay.
So you'll be able to go, oh, this employee, our pay week went right across that date, and 2 days are here and 3 days are there. You'll be able to do that. That's super exciting, and it'll be automatic. All you have to do is put in the hours for those 2 different periods. Again, not for a salary person, but for a, and one more step so we're doing, the design is so cool, which there was another issue. There's always issues, Anthony, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've been doing this long enough. There's always issues. And
so, yeah, you know, that goes without saying, actually.
Right. There was a popped in and popped out.
No worries. We'll come back to you.
It was a customer that had an issue with a pay raise that didn't take effect. And gosh, now I don't remember like I said, it popped in and popped out. And there is no easy solution inside the current platform, but we've solved for it. Again, problem solving, right? So when you have rate change issues and you don't catch them, then we will. In the case of minimum wage rate changes, those will become automatic. And so whenever Florida, every year, come January, we have another pay increase. It goes from $10 to $11. And then every year thereafter, it's going up another $1 until we hit that 15, and I think 2026 is when the final.
Oh, okay. So 15. Florida on January 1st of 2022 is going from 10 to 11 as the minimum wage?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And that also means for tipped employees in restaurants, it goes from $6.98 up to $7.98.
Oh, so they're going up by corresponding dollar as well. Okay.
Yeah, they always do. And
okay.
Then the overtime calculation, that's going to be a really nice change as well. Currently,
is there a minimum number of hours for overtime, or how does that work?
Depends on the state. Here in Florida, 40 in a week. So you can work 12, okay. You can work 3 12-hour days and it's not overtime. In California, it's daily. So if you work over 8 hours in a day, you get overtime. So
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
That's the other extreme.
Mm-hmm.
And in California, just because we do have customers there, as of January 1st, their law is changing so that if you have 5 or more employees, you have to offer retirement benefits.
Mm.
That's crazy.
Irregardless of the number of hours worked, does it matter how many hours you work?
5 full-time employees.
Oh, 5 full-time. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 5 full-time employees. You have to offer them retirement benefits.
Okay.
I can tell you that could potentially put a bunch of customers out of business.
Maybe they'll move to Florida.
I think they're going to be moving out of California. I don't know how you do that.
There seem to be a lot of people coming this way. It's just everything I hear says Florida is the place to go.
Texas, Florida, and South Dakota.
Yep.
They're the hot ones.
That's really cool.
So, well, again, thanks, Anthony. You're the face of all the customers and all the viewers. So
it's been fun, Al. Loving it.
Yeah,
are you on next week with the Christmas holidays coming up? Next week, are you on?
Yeah, we'll be on every I don't take a whole lot of time off. So
Okay.
we'll be here every Friday at 11 through I take that back. There's one that we're not, the 31st. We will not be here on the 31st.
Okay, 24th
be
is
at
on, the next 2
20
weeks are on, and then after
Next 2
that.
weeks, and then we have 1 week
Okay.
off. I'll
All
be
right.
out of town. So,
Okay, thanks,
right.
Al.
thank
Yep,
you.
bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
See you, everybody.
Yep.
If I can find it.